Hey kids, it's Alabama Annie. I am here in the location where something threw a rock at me. And it was just down that direction, down this trail that I just walked in on, that I brought the Jeep up and turned the Jeep around. You could turn a vehicle around right here then, before the storm in 2020 happened and messed everything up. So I turned the Jeep around and I parked it right about 10 foot from where I'm sitting. I opened the back hatch. I went down into the ditch that's on the opposite side of this roadbed and began throwing rock out of the ditch toward the back of the Jeep. And once I collected all the rock, I would put the rock into the Jeep and drive the Jeep down to my house and stack the rock in the front yard, and people would come and buy the rock, or they would order it in advance. So it's a good little side business. But at any rate, that day, it was about this time of year. It was about, I'd say, 8 years ago now when this happened. And I was busy with the rock. I stopped, I remember, to get a drink of water, and then I got back to it. And when I stopped to get the water, I noticed that all the birds had stopped and there was just no sound. But all of a sudden, I smelled this really rank, wet dog smell. That's the best way I can explain it, like wet wool or a wet dog. And so I became aware, oh, that could be a bear. I need to look around and be more aware of my surroundings. So I sat here on this very log and took stock of the area just to make sure, that I was alone. But then, up on this ridge behind me, now I'm a little paranoid, I started hearing leaves, the dry leaves that are on the ground, crunching like something big was walking in them. A squirrel can make a lot of noise in dry leaves, but not like a larger animal. And so that's what I was hearing, was the sound of something large walking in the dry leaves on the ground. And I paid attention to that, and I kept my eye up that direction, but didn't see anything. And I went back into the ditch, threw some more, 10 or 20 more big rock up, bigger than the one I'm going to show you. And so I threw those rock up, and then I started hearing limbs breaking and sticks breaking, and what sounded like something hitting a tree repetitively. And I started smelling that smell again. So I really paid attention. I thought maybe it's somebody trying to scare me, which has happened up here, because I have a couple of people in my family who are tricksters, and they like to scare you if they get the chance. And I can't say that I haven't done the same thing, but this was different. So I was putting the rock into the back of the Jeep, keeping an eye on the ridge and listening closely to everything. And then all of a sudden, a rock about this size, only longer and thicker, came flying down off that ridge behind me and landed at my feet on the other rocks. And at that point, I was like, okay. I didn't call out, who's there? What do you think you're doing? Or anything of that nature. It scared me enough that I slammed that back hatch. I got into my Jeep and I hauled out of here. When I made it back to the yard, my heart was just bam, 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 bam. And I was, just really freaked out. And I sat in the Jeep for a while thinking about what I had experienced. And I couldn't come up with any explanation but one, and that was Bigfoot. So there we have my story, and I'm going to get on with my hike now.